Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
Good morning. Welcome to Bead Maker and Coffee for Monday, July 22nd. We're here with Sydney and Chris DiGiovanni from Detailer's Roadmap. How you doing, Chris?
Good morning. I'm doing great.
It's nice and late where you are.
Good to have
Who
you
doesn't
here,
wanna be
Chris.
up in the morning. Look at this, huh? Like a free little guy.
Free little guy. Of course. Well, good to see you,
Long
Chris.
time no
and
see.
good to
We're
see
happy to have
Sydney.
you. Yeah.
Yeah. It's
For
been
sure.
I was on that trip with you guys last year. That's where got a little face to face. I've known Tony for a hot minute before that too. So yeah, things have
Just
been
a little
running
bit.
around.
Very good. Very good. Yes, you have. So I would love to hear about that real quick. You had the pleasure of doing the van trip and the craziness of doing a PNS event. How did you like that? What was your favorite part?
I think the best part was teasing Tony nonstop inside the van, and he had nowhere to go. If I'm being 100% honest,
Yeah,
but,
great.
It was great.
Yeah,
Great.
I mean, from an outsider perspective, just the hustle and bustle of that Monterey event is always wild. Gives you kind of a new appreciation of how much you guys do. Keith, especially, of all that kind of running around, and Josh Pierce running, teams and stuff like that. But yeah, Monterey was just a nonstop running around. So I loved it. I like that hustle bustle. I didn't love the 5 a.m. wake up, but everything else was good. So
yeah, I think that one day it was like 3, wasn't it? That last Friday was so early. Yes, I was on another podcast a couple weeks ago, and we were talking about the vans, and I was literally telling him, like, the vans is such a great part of that trip. It is. The van rides are just so great. So great.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, kids, so what are we doing here today, Tony? Besides,
I don't know.
Bead Maker and Coffee.
Yeah. So, we wanted to have
Tony's
Chris.
not quite awake yet.
I'm not. I'm still sucking down my coffee. We wanted to have Chris on partially just because Chris is an amazing character and a fun podcastee, but also because it sort of coincided with myself having a website launched by his team at Detailer's Roadmap. So we just thought it would be kind of a cool time to talk about it because I have dogs apparently. I have a firsthand, hand experience of going through the process just recently. So I could talk about that a little bit.
Yeah. So, for sure. So we, we get to answer a lot of questions and answers about detailing products, detailing processes. But, when Tony and I look at the show, we wanted to bring, kind of full circle with everything you need to run a successful detail business. So you'll see us add special guests in that bring a little bit more to the table than just detailing. So for sure, Chris and his company have made quite the splash in the industry with their websites. I know, they look absolutely fantastic. I've heard the process is amazing. Tony, you're going to go into your experience here soon. So why don't we start off with Chris? Why don't you tell us kind of your big, kind of your 5 big reasons why detailers need a good website?
Yeah, I mean, 5 good reasons. Wow, I wish I had that question ahead of time. I would have had this pre-prepared list for you.
Sorry, I like to put people on the spot.
Jesus,
how about it's 3 to 5?
Holy moly!
Loosen it up a little bit on them.
Sydney's taking me out early this morning. Jesus, good Lord. The main 3 things I always kind of tell people with website is, like, first off, before I even say those 3 things, you might not need a website. Okay. And I think that usually takes the air out of the room really quick when we tell people that on a sales call. In fact, I think Tony, even when his first conversation he was telling me about, I'm like, you probably don't even need one. Like, and he's like, whoa, like he got startled back. It might have been at a 5 o'clock on a bus ride.
Probably. Yeah.
So kind of the first thing is like websites really should do three things. It should pre-qualify people for you. It should kind of really be your resume. It should really convert. So really we look at three things. Is it gorgeous, right? Does a website look good? Would you pick that Pepsi can off the grocery line, and kind of does it look good? Does it show off what you're doing? And the second thing is if it's well written. Okay. So if it's well written, website will get you to peer up more locally around your area, right? Who doesn't want to be found? And well written has to be uniquely written. Okay. So it can't be a copy paste from PNS's website. It can't be a copy paste from other detailing sites, because if it's not uniquely written, Google really won't recognize you as a local authority. And then the third thing is and I'm not a fan of it, but it works, which is, does the website convert? And so is there buttons? Is it call to actions? Is it book now, schedule now? So a lot of times when they look at like Tony's website, I want to make sure it's gorgeous. I want to make sure it's well written, and I want to make sure it's basically asking for the sale. It's pre-qualifying. And when you combine all three, you tend to get what's called a high converting site, right? So that's the biggest thing, is like when you say 5 things people why they would need a site is, do you want more leads? Do you want to pre-qualify people? And that's the MO. I think if Facebook goes down tomorrow and you only advertise your business on Facebook, are you up a certain blank creek, if that goes away? Whereas a website acts like your 24/7 salesman. So
yeah. Well, very cool.
Yeah, and I want to say I've noticed already, even only having the site up for 2.5 weeks or so, that I've definitely had people call and text that were, like Chris said, more pre-qualified than before. They knew about packages, they knew about pricing, and so it was a lot less just phone calls of people saying, "Hey, how much for a detail?" And that's great, because that saves me a lot of time doing everything on my own, right? Answering the calls and booking and detailing. So it's been great already.
Yeah. I mean, Tony's results are because he also had a site prior. So a lot of times I'll even tell people, we shouldn't be your first site. Once again, boom, the air drops out again, like, what? I was gonna, I had someone reach out this morning. He's like, let's do a site. And I'm like, a new site isn't going to necessarily mean you're going to get floated with tons of traffic day one, So yeah, that's the MO. It will convert what's already coming if it hits those 3 things over and over and over. And in my mind, Tony, do you mind if I show your kind of engagement?
Not at all. Yeah.
No, I don't mind. I give you full permission. But in our system, we could tell, hey, here's Tony's traffic. How many phone calls did Tony get? How many form submissions did Tony get? What were the forms? So to me, this is all important to understand if the website's working, is understanding what engagement you're getting. And then it makes a determination if you want to do more. Do you want to do ads? We don't even do ads, but I can point you to the right people. Do you want to do SEO? Is SEO even a fit? In Tony's example, SEO might not be a fit because the town's so small. And we pull that data stuff too. So yeah.
Very cool. And I like that, because you mentioned, that it has to look good and read well. And that's so true, especially, this day and age. I think that 10 years ago, people could get away with just having like a landing website, right? And it really didn't matter. But now, consumers are so, I think because of like Instagram and stuff, you have to capture our consumers' attention in 1 second, right? So if something doesn't look professional and look, like what they're looking for, if it doesn't grab them right away, you could lose that customer if you don't have, a really nice initial landing page. It's so important now. And I think that's a big thing that I noticed, just that's changed even in the last 5 years. I mean, you got to be on your game, right? Because I even noticed myself doing that. If I go to, say, like an electrician's website or something, and it looks, 10 years ago, I probably go look for the next fun one, right? I mean, it's human nature. It's how we are now. So So I love that. I love the fun and flair and professionalism that you guys bring to the websites that you do. I'm always very impressed, and I always know when you guys have done one. And I'll use Justin Lobato's as an example, right? What a huge transformation that one was. So really cool. So that's awesome. Tony, what are some of your main differences between, because Chris mentioned that you did have one before, what are some of your main differences that you noticed, not necessarily on the engagement part yet, but just for you,
Sure.
navigating it and how you feel it presents you? What are some of the big changes that you feel have taken place?
Well,
or were you focusing on, right?
Looking back and comparing, especially my old website versus my new, I scroll through certain sections of my old website and I think, man, I did a pretty good job. And then you keep scrolling and it's just a bunch of white space, a bunch of blank area. And so, initially jumping and looking at between the two, the new site is just so full of just, I mean, this is a bad way of describing it. It's so full of stuff, but like it's got pictures, it's got graphics, it's got, lots of description, lots of writing, lots of words. And as you scroll, there's layers to it. So what's really interesting about, the base kind of website I went with and how they tweaked it for me is, as one section of the website moves, a photo or something is very large in the background and it doesn't move. And so it gets exposed more as you scroll through the content of the page. Just really interesting things like that. And then obviously all the writing too is a lot more, the writing was definitely my weak point on my personal site. I'm just basically like, buy a ceramic coating, like period. And then,
buy it now.
Now I've got, buy it now, click here. And so I had a little bit of that like call to action stuff, but not near the amount that the new website has, right? There's buttons all over the place. There's, forms all over the place so that they can easily get ask for, information. They can ask to book, they can ask to do all kinds of things. And so it's just, the big takeaway for me already is that it's just so much more professional. Like all of that wrapped up is just, it just looks more and presents more professionally. I'm excited to point people to the website now more than I had been before. And so, and then like we were talking about earlier, the pre-qualifying of them is great, having pricing and things on there.
Yeah.
That's been
awesome.
really nice.
So I have a question, because this is something that I truly don't know, but so Chris, this might be for you. So in Tony's case, if somebody has a website that then is visited and the consumers spend more time scrolling through that website, does it make it more likely to come up, sooner in people's search? Does it help? Is it kind of is there an algorithm to that or no?
Yeah. So are you asking if people are on the site and if they're engaging with it longer, do they pop up higher on Google?
Yes.
So Google has about primarily 70 signals. Okay. So they look at 70 things. It's kind of like if Chris wants to lose weight, he's got to do X amount of things. Well, Chris is willing to go to the gym, but not eat right, not sleep well, so Chris is not going to lose weight as fast as Google wants. So a perfect example is how long people are on the site is absolutely a signal. How much you do your own marketing is absolutely a signal. So a perfect example is if we get I had a guy this morning, he's very well known in the industry. He's reaching out to me. He's like, I need a new website. And I'm like, you don't really market your own website. You don't use Google My Business. You don't use Facebook. You don't put it in your email signature. A new website's not going to do anything for you. It's I hate to break it to you. The website's not a human misconception is a website is going to solve all the problems. And the reality is Google looks at a lot of those signals to understand how people are interacting with it. And yes, it does determine if you come up higher. But reality is it's just one signal out of the 50 plus that are going through it. If it finds that users are there for 3 seconds and leaves, that is a huge signal. Tony doesn't have a lot of traffic because he's not in a major traffic area, but the average user is on there for 3.5 minutes.
Oh, nice.
So and when he said pre-qualifying, yeah, he hasn't had a lot of traffic. He's had only 30 visitors in the first week, but he converted 5 of them into leads. So it's like
I feel like that's actually,
qualification.
I feel like that's actually good. Yeah, I feel like that's good for the first week and B, his area. I feel like that's actually really cool.
Yeah.
Nice. Very good. Let's see. So I know we've got some questions popping up soon, but you tell me, Tony, do you want to go into our product of the week, or do you want to jump right into questions for Chris? I know there's some website questions coming up.
Yeah, there's a few website questions. I mean, let's knock out the products of the week, and then we'll give our audience a chance to chime in on those as well. And then bring your questions for Chris and Detailer's Roadmap and websites in general. Just maybe what is a website? That's a good one. We'll start off.
Yeah.
Eddie Cologne's in the chat. I'm gonna get lit up. I can tell already.
No.
Define the internet. So why don't you start, Sid? What was your product of this last week?
So, I have kind of an interesting take on this week. So, obviously I have a lot of different products that are my favorite and I like to use repeats, but here's what I think my answer is going to be based off this week. And Tony, you get this. So what was it, about 2.5 weeks ago now, we completely packed up my shop thinking that it would be for a few days. So filled all of my quart bottles, and I thought that was going to last me until my new cabinets got here. So we packed everything in moving boxes, taped them closed, labeled them, didn't leave any products out other than like a bottle of Rehab and everything in my quart spray bottles, but that was it. So my answer is going to be based off of the one that I have had to open boxes and refill twice because I did not even make it a couple days, which to me, that means like that's one of my most used products, right? And sometimes we don't realize that. So my product of the week is going to be Full Send, because I have had to bust into that off-road box twice to refill the Full Send. So I thought it was kind of funny for me to realize like what products I actually go through the most of. And totally, it's just so weird. I go through Full Send and Cockpit faster than any of the other chemicals. I thought that was so bizarre. Because I wouldn't have known that had I not like put myself to this test, right? Of like limiting my access.
Yeah. You're not
chemicals.
paying attention when you can just grab the gallon easily. Now you have to go fight for it.
Yeah. Yep. So I think it's Full Send, and probably because I use it for so much, right? I use it for fender wells, exterior plastic, tires, floor mats. So lots of Full Send. Plus I just love this scent. Yeah. So yeah, my favorite product this week by default is Full Send.
Just by
I still don't have my cabinet.
Sounds like a new product name. Default.
Yeah, exactly. That is actually a really
look at that. Tony's eyebrow went up.
That's not a bad name. I'll just continue the off-road theme for today then, because I was thinking mine was going to be Cockpit. Just because it's just so good. I mean, if you have a car that is nasty and you need something that has some kick to it on the interior, and maybe Express Interior Cleaner just isn't quite doing it, or it just isn't doing it as quick as you would like, then Cockpit is an amazing interior cleaner that just has that extra bite to it.
It really is.
And so
I love it.
Yeah, I used that this week and cut through some pretty good grease and grime, and some of it just wipes right off. It's pretty impressive how much extra kick it has to it when you need it. So there's like a deer or something behind the fence that is just pissing the dogs off.
Too funny.
And here I am trying to have a nice nature show.
Yeah.
Nature documentary.
My dog's having a fit over there too.
You ever seen that video where he goes, trees? Isn't that nice? Isn't that sweet? You've never seen that one where he's touching trees? He goes, that's cool, eh?
But now I want to.
Too funny. So my quick tip with Cockpit is, I always see people talking about their dilution rates of Express, which my personal opinion is it should only be 1-to-1. But, sometimes you do need that extra kick. And so then what I used to do before the off-road line came out was I would have one bottle of Express that was full strength and one that was 1-to-1. And 1-to-1 is what I typically use. And so to avoid confusion with that, then I just use Cockpit as my full strength interior cleaner, and I don't dilute that. And then Express is always at 1-to-1 for me. So I love that. And then it's so easy to tell, and especially when you have other people working for you, like me, i.e. teenagers, they kind of need that exact difference. And so I love that.
Yeah.
I love Cockpit. It's awesome.
This
Very
is the,
good. Chris,
like,
do you have a
medium
favorite
cleaning,
product of
this
the
is
week?
the
And
medium.
it does not have to be a PNS product.
I used a
Yeah,
PNS
what do you
product. I used, so
Did
I
you?
had I have a blue BMW, an old 25-year-old BMW M Coupe. It's like
Okay. Uh-huh.
the and basically what happened is I put it in my driveway, my sprinkler system reset its schedule,
Oh,
and it
no.
blasted it. And I have 450 parts per million water, so it's like super hard water.
Yeah.
So it blasted it on one side and etched in 20 minutes, like because it was full sun. It was 90 degrees here and full sun, so half the car got etched. And I was like, fuck. I was like, I was like, dang it. So I pull it in, and the magic trick for me to get it to remove, ironically, was I had some leftover Fireball water spot remover. So I used that with Frostbite and Ultra Safe Sponge from Rag Company.
Yeah.
And was able to get all the side doors, the rear fenders, that all came off. The top panels, though, the etching did not come off. It was in. So I actually had to polish it, and it's because of so much heat, right? Hit the calcium and it was annihilated. But for me, I think the Safe Sponge was the winner, because I was able to not take a microfiber cloth, put it in some Absolute with some water spot remover, and was able to gently pull it off on the side. Thank God. So it saved me an hour of polishing just doing that.
Oh my goodness. Yeah. Nice. Very cool. I love that.
Awesome.
I do.
Eddie was wondering how that BMW turned out.
It is always dialed in, Eddie. That is
always.
It's my sacrilege car. It does always have to. When you chase perfection, I would wet sand it if I thought there was enough paint left over. Let's just put it that way. So
dang.
That's so funny. Very cool. Very cool. I have how old is that thing? 20-year-old Mini Cooper that's blue. Nice. And I was feeling terrible yesterday. It's I try to keep it clean, but it sits in mothballs a lot of the time, and it's just been hammered. And I felt so bad because I noticed yesterday at Waxstock, and I see John from Clean and Shiny's in the chat. Yesterday at Waxstock, there's a guy with the exact same Mini Cooper as me, like exact same color, year, everything. And he won second place of the whole show.
Oh, wow.
And that show is about how clean the car is. And obviously I was there last year and voted for the car, and it's amazing. But then yesterday I literally this car just won second place at Waxstock, and mine is literally out there sitting in mothballs. I really need to do something about it. Its potential is so great. You got to see the potential. So I got to get on that.
We need a picture of it. We need to see it. You can't talk about it without showing it.
Well, Tony knows it. Tony's gotten a speeding ticket in it.
I have.
What?
I let him borrow it one day, and it wasn't even like an hour in, and he texts me and goes, "I just got pulled over."
That's terrible.
Yeah. It's a fun little car to drive, for sure. For sure. All right. Well, should we? And I will say, because I forgot to say at the beginning of the show that I was gone all week last week. I'm sure some of you saw that I went to Hayward for a little bit. So I don't, you know what, Tony, we did not get any offline questions last week. So I don't have any.
It's been a quiet week.
Yeah. So I don't have any moments of uncertainty for later, just as a heads up. So you guys make sure to get your questions in. All right, let's dive into questions. So Chris, this one's going to be for you. Can they request, would this be to the to the detailer or to detailer's roadmap? So can they request an estimate and collect email addresses?
I think he means to the detailer.
I think it means to my website.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, I can show a site as an example if you want.
Yeah,
sure.
Or even Tony's website as well. So every website more or less is built to convert, right? So if you're in ceramic coatings, we always try and drive it to a phone call or a book now, some sort of button that kind of more or less shows what you're trying to go to. So yeah, the goal is always get a quote, right? And what type of quote do you want? 1 year, 3 year, 3 to 5? You know, we let them select. Also quote me on what else, you know? So yeah, the goal is always to get them to a high conversion, right? I prefer phone call, you know, because realistically your best customer is going to call in usually.
Right. Yeah.
But that's why
they're not just price shopping, right? If they actually call.
Yep. That's exactly it. And I did remind me again, I got like a hot tip too after this, when you guys are ready to talk about something else that people can do to their sites that will really pop off too.
Cool.
Okay.
Cool.
Very good. We got a lot. Oh, am I quiet?
Good morning.
You are a little quiet. Good morning, pianist.
Good morning.
Good morning from the tree land.
Well, speaking of good mornings, we got a lot of mornings.
Too funny.
First from Puerto Rico's here.
Lots of good mornings.
And then this is more of a comment. This is not so much a question, but it's very true. So Chad mentions that don't sleep on your Google business profile.
Yeah.
Do you want to comment on that at all, Mr. Chris?
Sure. Yeah. So what he's talking about is what we kind of pitch in our roadmap partnership group, which is so Google Business's profile. The more you use something, the more results you have, right? If you go to the gym and you use the equipment, you're just more likely to have results. So Google, if you start posting updates, we typically tell people 3 to 5 times a week, it will start to bring up your ranking over time. Probably the one that most people sleep on, if I'm being honest, is they don't use the FAQs or they don't use the offers. Most people just click the update where you put a photo, but you really should fill out 60 to 90 words. And it has a direct effect. Not everybody needs to do it. Okay, so that's kind of like a caveat. And I'd love to pull up a screenshot here to show you an example why not everybody might not need to do it. So this is Tony's ranking. Okay, so this is Tony's ranking for detailing near me. This is Tony's ranking for ceramic coating near me. From his Google business profile. We could see his competitors are right here. But he probably isn't going to have to really work too hard because of just there's not a whole lot of crazy population in this area, right? So he might not need to do it to the level that we kind of quote. If we pull Josh Pierce, he's in a different scenario. So each one of these is saying Josh's business is right here. And 1 mile away, he comes up on the 8th spot. That's probably not good for Josh. You know, his competitors come up higher. So we can see Josh is right here, carousel auto appearance. This would be an example of where he's probably going to have to start posting. He's probably going to have to start doing offers. He's probably going to start doing pieces like that.
Interesting. Okay.
This is his detailing and then paint protection film. He's killing it. So, So it all kind of can vary depending on what is really going on with the business, what signals are being read. Maybe that means Josh has a lot of reviews for paint protection film and the system's picking that, or maybe his pages are really built well for PPF, but maybe not as well for ceramic coating. Might be a competitive thing. So I would always say pull an audit and see if it's really makes sense. But definitely posting 3 times a week can help you for sure. Thanks for that.
That's really cool.
Appreciate that. That was real nice. Thank you for that. Appreciate the comment. Thank you so much.
That was really good information.
You don't want Whisper Chris? Whisper Chris is like passive aggressive Chris. Hey Tony, it's really nice that your dogs are really just being nice and happy with you all the time.
They're just great. I mean, I could get this could be a deer cam in like 10 seconds if we needed to. I can show you the proof.
So funny.
This was an interesting one too. Do we use pay per click? And I'm assuming that's an option if we wanted to go that route with advertisement, right?
Yeah. So look at marketing as a whole, Does that make sense?
Sure.
Like, is the answer pay-per-click? Is the answer website? Is the answer SEO? Is the answer referrals and reviews? You know, I'm a big, like, you can't do everything. It's not possible. It's not possible as a technician, as a business owner. You cannot do everything. There is a real, what's called conversion rate stuff. So like Sydney does not need a website. Okay. Like, let's just throw that out there. Sydney doesn't need a website. She doesn't need the work, right?
Yeah.
Why does Sydney not need the work? Sydney has a large referral base that has kept her in business, that she'll probably never need a site. So the example of that is, that's a high conversion, right? Oh, do you know Sydney? She does all my cars. You should talk to her. She closes super high. She's always in business. It's not going to really affect anything. Whereas if you're new and you're not getting anybody to view your business at all, if you're new to the area or you're high competition, then ads might be a real answer, right? You gotta, if you can make the best burger in town and no one knows about the burger, how do you get the burger in front of people's eyes? And ads is an absolutely a thing for sure. So it's not a one all be all situation. You're looking at two people here, Tony and Sydney, that have completely opposite businesses, you know, completely different populations, completely different historical data. One person is using a website, it's already getting conversions. One person is enjoying her life with a brown sofa couch and does not need a website. There's, you know what I mean? Like, it's not a one all fit all plan.
Yeah.
Does that kind of make sense?
Yes. Totally. Absolutely. Very cool. That's really good information.
Definitely.
I love it. Love it.
She loves it, everybody.
I do. Good morning, Eddie. I love when Eddie comes. But he only loves Chris today.
That's right.
He loves Chris.
Hell yeah.
The goat.
The goat.
My dog's having a fit back there because I won't let her out.
I got some good one. If you want a good tip, I don't know if you're trying to fill up time or if you're trying to hit it up on a certain time spot.
Tony's trying to pull up comments.
Yeah, I'm going through comments. I was just reading Rod Pusey's thinking, and I had to read it 3 times to decide if I was going to post it on the screen.
Oh, I know what he means. Yeah.
I get it now.
Am I the devil?
Yeah.
What the shit?
No,
what is this?
No. He means Idaho because it's like 107 here all week. He's saying like Idaho. It's not Idaho. It's Idaho this week.
Oh, I read it as IDA hell. Were you spooning the devil? I'm like, am I the devil?
Oh,
and
no.
IDA is the heaven? Like, what's going on?
I knew what you meant, Rod. Because yes, I'm living it. I knew what you meant.
Well, and you said there's fires as well, right?
Yeah,
so it's
yeah.
smoky.
And so it's like super dark outside. It's super cloudy. It's so humid, which in Idaho we don't normally have humidity, and it is 107 until Thursday. So yeah, we are not living the dream over here right now.
Oh,
yeah.
Boy.
So I knew what you meant. Rod, because I'm living it. All right, Super Auto. Every time I see Chris, I think of him being on the podcast with Jamie, Alex, and Eddie, and Chris blurting out the answer. I do remember that. I was watching that episode.
Oh my god!
That was so funny.
I thought we were playing Q&A with me, and I had to do the answer.
Oh my god, that was so funny, and you were so like, you were like, I know this. That was so funny.
Yeah,
swinging the lights around.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, that's so funny.
Oh man,
so funny. All right, clean and shiny. Good morning from the UK. Good morning. Wax Talk is over.
Good morning.
I know how those big events, they just take it out of you. Super Auto. Jamie, that bird in your last video sounded like a car alarm.
So at least it's not only me with the whole deer and dog background noise situation.
Yeah. Can you guys hear my background noise? My dog is back there absolutely throwing a fit.
No. Don't hear nothing.
You're the least distracting member of the podcast at the moment.
Yeah, because she is like having a fit. But she got up too late, so.
Was "oh golly gee" the actual words used with your BMW?
Yeah, definitely was "oh jolly gee." It was like, "Oh, love me some water etching." Oh jolly gee. Would love to start polishing right now. This is fantastic.
My favorite. Joey Valinsky. Hello, my friends. Did you know Joey gets to go to Monterey this year?
I did see that. Good for
Yeah.
Joey. That's nice.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, that's going to be fun for him.
I feel like Joey is like the full name of like, is his real name Joe or does he go by Joey? Because Joey immediately, the word just makes you smile a little bit more. My name's Joey.
Joey.
Oh, Joey, you're so nice,
Oh
Joey.
no.
That's so funny.
He's gonna be glad not to be stuck on the bus with you for hours.
It's not stuck, it's an opportunity. All right, completely different, Tony.
Opportunity.
Yes, John says that was
Is
Matt's
there a
incredibly
deer?
clean mini.
Where's the deer? Show the deer, Tony.
You know, we still have a moose on the loose in Hidden Springs. Oh my goodness.
Oh, you are legit. That is a deer right
yeah.
up to the fence, too.
Oh, yeah. Just driving those dogs crazy.
Yeah.
There you go.
No wonder. Let's talk about your spa back there. Hold on. Go back. Show the spa with the pool. What? Hold on. Is that a galvanized horse trough
it's
for
a
a
pond.
pool? Oh, sure
It's
it
a
is.
pond, and there's koi fish in it.
Sure. Oh, wow. What a
Yeah.
whole siesta going on.
So I can take a swim with friends
That's
whenever
so
I want.
funny. That's so funny. So now we know the secret to the Mini Cooper. He works at a body shop. That's why mine looks the way mine looks and his looks the way his looks. He has not 20-year-old paint, sounds like. Keith says, bring the Mini to the Squatch Queue. No chance in anything because you know what, Keith, and I'm actually hoping we get to the Squatch Queue because right now I-84 is closed all the way to Baker because of the fire. But I would never drive that thing on the freeway for more than 5 minutes and not with 3 other people in the car. So there's no chance of the quail are here. It is like Animal Monday. I have quail at my back window. Yeah, I would never drive it that far. And I just hope I get there at this point. Team Mini Cooper. JP
so you're driving it. That's different.
We are driving. Yeah, we are driving because the plane tickets were like $500. And so it was going to be like $1,000. And you really only save like an hour a day each way. You know, it's only a 6-hour drive. So I was like, if it was just me, that would be one thing. But now there's 3 of us going. So yeah, there was no way we were flying. So we'll drive, but we'll take the Jeep. Comfort. Can you imagine driving in 100 degrees in the Mini Cooper? Whew. No, thanks.
No,
thanks.
Not with that glass roof.
Yeah, no. Chris, the changes Google is implementing having video on your site, is that making a big impact on SEO? And if so, what do you suggest people do and what kind of video will help the rankings?
Yeah, so so Google goes back and forth a lot on video in using it as a signal to if you should rank better or not. Whatever Google does today, you have to understand it's going to change its mind in 6 months. So it kind of like, I hate to say it, kind of like doesn't matter when it comes to the video stuff, whether if you have a video on your site or you don't. Probably the biggest tip people are missing, and I told Jamie the cleaner this, and it actually completely started working for him almost like right away, is that let's say Tony works on a new Kia EV6 tomorrow and does like a ceramic coating on it. I cannot wait to see what happens with this dog. Look at that. Look at the hop. Look at the dog hop. Did you see the dog hobble the whole time?
I did.
You see that? The dog hobble? We're going outside.
Yes.
Are we doing this? So if let's say you're going to work on a Kia EV6, your natural inclination is not to do anything with it. It's just to coat it and get it moving and get it out the door, right? The smart thing to do is actually just do like a walk around video and say, I did this. Look at these wheels. Look at this water falling off the car. Take that Kia EV6. How do you pronounce? I'm going to screw up the name of your town, Tony.
Tehachapi.
And then put it on YouTube with Tehachapi, California, or San Diego, California, or San Francisco, California, wherever the car is from. And that is a signal to Google. If you want to double it up, so I'm saying putting it on YouTube. If you want to double it up, take that YouTube video and just put one video per page on your website. So don't, if you have 40 ceramic coating videos, I'm not telling you put all 40 on your website. I'm just saying pick one, one per month or something like that. But if you put them on YouTube, which is the second biggest search index in the world, okay, most people aren't thinking about that, but YouTube is the second biggest one by far. If you put it on YouTube, you actually have another way to be found. It's another signal to Google. So I don't know that. Yeah.
No, I could definitely do that. And just videos of it basically being finished.
Yeah, like
or of the whole job, maybe.
So I advised Excelsior to do this, and I could pull it up if you guys want to see. And he doesn't do anything special. I mean, he just literally pull it up here. He just does these videos. They're not crazy views. Okay. So I don't, the days of like having 1,000 viewers is what you're looking for. But all he does is like talk about what he's done to the car. He's got 50 views. I'll guarantee you, if anybody's watching this and they're in Windsor, Ontario, those 50 views are high quality views. You know what I mean? So like, don't get dissuaded that you don't get 1,000 views per video. I mean, there's a couple in here that are, but they live forever. Do you understand? Like when you're putting them on YouTube, this 2024 Lexus Windsor ceramic coating has 9,000 views, whatever, it got picked up. And this one's got 29. But this is going to stay on YouTube forever. So if you're looking up maybe Jaguar ceramic coating Windsor, high chance that this guy's going to pop up for you. So, that's how I would really look at video. You could get into the whole thing on video on site, but I would really look at it more at the YouTube side as a signal on its own.
That's great
totally
tip.
Interesting. Yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome. Eddie says, now I love SVG and Tony when he isn't acting like Casper. Do you act like Casper? What does he mean?
I don't know. I guess today being quiet. Today, or muting myself because the dogs keep barking at the dang deer.
Casper with a lift.
Eddie, are you making fun of Tony because he can't tan?
Wow.
He tries. Right?
Wow. That's some information.
What does he mean, Casper?
I don't know.
That's funny. Does Casper whisper? PNS's honor was being defended in a podcast this last Saturday night. Oh, wow. I must have missed that. There's a Saturday night podcast? Who says that?
Not sure. He says.
Oh, Jamie and Eddie were standing tall for PNS. Well, that's nice.
Yeah.
You're going to send Sydney down a deep well finding that podcast. Good. Thanks, guys, for that one. Appreciate that.
Who do I need to go talk to?
Yeah.
Right. Adam Garvin says, love my DRM site. Great work, Chris and team.
Thanks, Adam. Thank you.
Adam's going to Monterey this year, too. I can't wait.
Thanks, Adam. Have fun.
Joey, Chris swinging the lights around will go down as one of my favorite podcast moments ever. Did you swing lights around?
Oh yeah, 100%. Yeah. I'm a little bit different at night. If you think this is wacky,
it was so funny. Bob came on a podcast with me 2 weeks ago on Jamie's podcast, and he was just like, "What in the world?" I was like, "Yeah, these nighttime podcasts go a little bit different than the morning ones."
Yeah, 100%.
Some different conversation. Yeah, Joey's. Oh, Joey
for life.
What is that? Oh, I don't know what that means. Okay, yeah, I'm older than you guys. No Joe's here.
He just typoed it. Joey for life.
Oh, I got it. It's a typo. Well, then, yeah, of course. Of course, Joey always stands tall for PNS. He does.
Is he? Is he tall, though? He's kind of a short guy, right? Isn't it? Joey's short for PNS? Isn't that the more appropriate line?
That's so funny. Have you seen the picture of Joey and Tony together? Joey's very tall. Joey, you know what I can't wait for is to see a picture of Joey with Gordon, because I'm not sure who's taller. I almost might think it might be Joey. Yeah. I'm looking forward
we'll find out for sure. It's the main goal of the 7-day week.
Yeah. I can't wait. All right. Chris M says, in which ways do detailers struggle to understand what their customers are looking for and miss sales opportunities?
I'd like to hear you guys answer on this, and I'd love to come in after.
You know,
For me, I'm going to come at it that it's like the education. Like I think customers are looking to be educated on the services and or what they're going to get out of it. So I know for me, one of the things that makes me successful in my way of doing marketing, which is literally just talking to the customer, right? Is just really educating them, and I have seen and heard a lot of detailers that are just like, well, a full detail is this price, but they don't really like educate the customer on maybe why or what they're getting out of it. They also don't educate them on what makes them different than their competitor. And by that, I don't mean talking down about your competitors, not at all. But do you set yourself apart? Do you let them know why you're the best choice for them? So absolutely not talking down your competitor, but how do you educate them on how you're, you know, the right fit for them? And if you're not the right fit, they're going to respect that education as well. I had to tell a customer that called last week that we were not the right fit. And
Mhm.
I do believe that down the road, he will respect that. And when he does need that level of service, he will likely call me.
Mhm.
So I think it's really making sure that they're educating their customers is a big missed opportunity. Tony, how about you?
I mean, I think I definitely agree. Education is huge, but also offering enough packages to be able to suit everyone's, budget,
Hmm.
I think is a
Yeah.
big one. I essentially have a couple of like sneaky packages in my back pocket that I
Sneaky.
didn't purposely put on my
Hmm.
website. They're
Sneaky.
sneaky.
Hmm.
But it's one of those things where once you have a conversation with a customer and you realize, they have it in their budget to spend $300 on their car and they want it to be nicer. Well, that
Hmm.
doesn't exactly fit a ceramic coating, but maybe it fits something where you're using a product like Rubezuno Advanced, where you've got
Hmm.
it's a cheater product that's got a little ceramic in it, it's got some fillers in
Hmm.
it,
Hmm.
and you can do a good detail and a polish of their whole car and charge them that
Hmm.
$300 and they're probably going to be happy.
Mhm.
So I think, keeping that in mind too, that, just honoring what the customer wants to spend a lot of times. And then
Hmm.
two, I think quite honestly, that can go both ways. I think you need to have that whale package at the top end that's just
Hmm.
almost crazily priced, that does literally everything top to
Yeah.
bottom, inside and out, and offer that for the customers that say, no, no,
Hmm.
you don't understand. Like I don't even care. I just want it to be
Hmm.
perfect.
Yeah.
I think offering both of those is kind of an important thing to have,
Hmm.
for some customers. So,
Yeah.
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 Yeah. I think if you listen to both of those answers, they're great. Sydney said, make sure you're qualifying for what you offer. And then Tony said, have opportunities for other packages that you might not offer. I would go back to even before you get into education is so we sell websites, right? We
Hmm.
want to sell websites to detailers, ceramic coating, PPF shop. When I trained my sales guy, I said the first thing you do, obviously after introduction, do not ask people questions. If you're not asking 4 questions, you
Hmm.
have to really listen to the customer of why they're calling in. To Sydney's point, you might not be a fit, right? Like, well, I was looking for this and I want it for X dollars. Well, hold on. Like, is that what you want? Or do you really want, a different result to last a couple years? And there might be a thing. I mean, we tell no to about 30-40% of the people who come in. And it's meant to get them to what we really sell. Because if I sell them something they're not expecting, or they had a different expectation, it's wrong. So I would tell you, for in terms of the going back to the original question, is like, understand what customers are looking for and miss sales opportunities. My sales guys are trained. So if you listen to them and they say, I want to do this, 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 use that as an opportunity of like, oh, you hate cleaning your wheels? I think you should do maybe a coating package for the wheels as well. Let's bundle it up. How do you take care of your car? Do you go through car? Like, just listen to what people say. They will
Hmm.
give you the answer. They will tell you what you want. You just have to be smart enough
Hmm.
to ask them the right question and listen to
Hmm.
those opportunities. That's the biggest one. Before you get into a whole pitch,
Hmm.
listen to what they're saying. You'll go a lot farther in business, I think.
Yep. Yep. Very good. Very good.
I like that.
All right. Heck yeah. I defended PNS. Come at me, bro. How come I didn't hear about this? Now I got to know what happened.
Tripping balls. That's pretty accurate.
Yeah.
Tripping
Yeah. Swung lights and started laughing like he was tripping balls.
I'm not even going to comment.
This young kid lingo, I don't know it.
Not going to comment.
Not going to comment.
All right. We are looking good auto detailing. We're in the process of putting together a team that handles bookings, lead, follow-up, etc. Any suggestions for them when following up on leads for a higher conversion rate?
Yeah, so the process of putting together a team that handles bookings, lead, follow-up. Any suggestions when following up on leads for high conversion rate? One is if you're working with an ad company, the ad company usually is going to do what's called a nurture system. The reason why is these ad companies realized a long time ago is that they can give you a lot of leads, but business owners were not following up with people. So they now include what's called a nurture system. The most common one they build on is called Go High Level. It's not it's just a platform. It allows automatic text backs, email message backs, stuff like nurture systems. If you ask Sydney or Tony what website they were looking at before this podcast, they probably can't tell you. People are just spacey nowadays. They don't remember that they inquired. Yeah. They don't remember. If I inquired on T-Line Auto Detail, I don't remember it. So nurture is like a real thing nowadays. Like, hey, I called you for a quote. Did you get this? Da, da, da. So in terms of suggestions for when following up on leads for a high conversion rate, I would say high touch 7 days. So if you get into a nurture system that chases somebody every day for 7 days, then it goes to the 14th, then it goes to the 30th, then it goes to no reaction, then put them into a newsletter. I think that's probably the biggest one people are actually sleeping on too, is like you can go into a high conversion rate or a whole nurture thing for a month, but most people are not doing a monthly newsletter and they're sleeping on tons of money. Can you imagine if Sydney reached out to all her customers proactively once a month for 12 months a year? I bet you she'd get more bookings. She doesn't need no bookings. She's Sydney, I wash. I don't need no bookings. So that's what I would say.
Bookings away from me.
High touch, 7 days, rotate into a 14, 30-day turn. And then if no action, do not forget about those people. Put them into a newsletter. You'd be surprised how many times I'm reaching out to the guy who helps me with my irrigation at the office because I'm in his newsletter. I remember his name because he's in the newsletter. Every time he's emailing, I do water. It sprays grass. There's nothing special about it, but I can't remember my mechanic. I can't remember the plumber. I can't remember the electrician, but I remember the irrigation guy because he emails me every month. Be the irrigation guy.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Be the irrigation guy.
Be the irrigation guy. That's awesome.
Yep. Like that. That's the message of the show today.
Be the irrigation guy.
I love it.
It's got a follow-up question too.
Yeah. How do you articulate that you're the better fit or simply the best without sounding arrogant?
Oh, I'm terrible at this answer. My answer is I say I'm not a fit, but I don't even like referring other people because it tends to bite me in the butt sometimes.
Yeah.
How do you articulate you're the better fit or simply the best without, you are the better fit? Hey, why don't you just give us a shot? Let's see what happens. My goal is to beat your expectations every time. I'm not saying we're perfect, but let's try it out. Let's see if we can have a relationship that lasts years and just shut up.
Yeah. And one thing that I say in my situation is when people call and, maybe I have to tell them that I'm further out than maybe some other detail shops, or maybe my prices are a little bit higher than other detail shops. I just say, one of the reasons that my customers love coming to my shop is because I am a one-person shop. Your car gets my full attention, and you're getting just me, not employees, not people that, may not completely care. And so you're getting a different level of service. And then I say, and I realize that level of service may not be for what everyone's looking for. And so I just let them know the benefits. Like, you're in a totally secure area, where your car is, that I'm fully insured and everything. Like, you have that comfort of knowing that your car is being treated, like the only thing. I mean, I only take one car a day. And so when I mention that to them, and then, they start to picture, and not to put down detail shops at all, but they start to picture their car being, like, you think about the dealership, it's moved around a bunch of times. It's put out with the used car in the lot. It's, who knows who's driving it. We've all seen those videos. And so I kind of point those things out, not necessarily talking down about shops or dealerships, but I let them know why others really like to come to my shop, because their car gets special attention. It's kept safe. It's literally just in my control the whole day. They can drop off pickups quite a bit more lax, which bites me in the butt a lot, but whatever, but so I point out the differences, and then people feel like, if it's a good fit for them or not. And so I don't feel like, I don't have to do it in an arrogant way at all. I just let them know why other people like coming to me, and I let them know how long I've been in business. I let them know how long I've been servicing this area. I let them know that I provide pickup and drop off. In my specific area, there's 1,500 homes in my neighborhood. And I let them know, a lot of people like my shop because they can have their car detailed or ceramic coated while they're out of town. And I go grab the car while out of their garage, and then I bring it back to my shop. I do it. I take it back home. They're completely hands off. That is a huge benefit to some people. So I just let them know the things that set me apart from, maybe going to a shop. So, and then, like with the gentleman last week, I told him we weren't a good fit because he just wanted a quick cleanup so that he could sell this car that was kind of trashed. And I wasn't willing to reduce my level of service. And I just let him know that very kindly. I said, this may not be a fit for this vehicle because I don't do those quick in and out cleanups. I don't know what to leave. That's just not my style. And because I am a shop that only has one car in the shop a day, I can't lower my fees to fit, that necessity. And so I just let him know, like, for this vehicle, I didn't say me and the customer were not a good fit. I said, for this specific job that you're needing done, my business model may not be a good fit. And I gave him names of people to call, this person or this person's going to be able to help you in this situation, but let me know if I can help you with anything in the future. And that's easy to do, but I'm not like, oh yeah, we're not a fit. Sorry, buddy. I mean, you can be very
Get out of
service
here.
oriented and help them. Yeah. And
they'll
I
appreciate
to the right
that
place,
too.
So yeah. All right. Chris is the irrigation guy. Kidding everyone about posting.
Team members. There's a reason why I didn't specifically share this with my internal team. I just let it pop up, so that's why they're late. So I don't want.
So funny. That's so funny. Oh, goodness.
This is probably a decent one to kind of round us out here, and I'm curious about this too. How do you feel about local paper advertisements?
Local magazines, community flyers. Once again, I'm going to go back to what we said maybe 20 minutes ago, is that you really have to look at a holistic approach of who you're trying to get. I actually don't mind physicals, like, printed local paper advertisements, local magazines. You have to look at who's your perfect customer. Okay. And it's called a customer avatar. It's been talked about for years and years. Who is reading a local magazine? Who is reading a community flyer? It's probably somebody who's 49 to 65. Okay.
Right. Yeah.
That is probably a good answer for someone who maybe is buying a new car and is in that age group. So you kind of have to understand that's the guy who you're going to get out of that. So you either put a brand new Mercedes or you put a 1970 Chevelle in there. Like, that's probably what's going to drive that type of piece. That person might know what a ceramic coating is, and someone might say, I don't believe in that stuff. I like to hand wax. So I'm not opposed to it. It just, most people, where they screw up, they don't track. Okay. So if you're going to do a local paper advertisement, maybe you really put a unique phone number on there. So, I got 10 calls from this thing. Or maybe you mention this discount. They don't do any tracking. That's where people get screwed up. That's what I would tell you. I would tell you the one that's getting slept on more than anything that you can get for a lot of times very cheap is billboards. Billboards are literally something that's way cheaper than they should be right now. And you really just cannot buy that many eyeballs a lot of times for that cheap.
Yeah. Well, and that falls back under like brand recognition, right? Like somebody has to see a logo like so many times before it actually sinks in. So that makes perfect sense because a magazine you go through once, you're probably not going to go through that magazine again. But a billboard, if that's on your normal route, you absolutely will see it multiple times. So that's a
Yep.
very good point.
And Chris M says 70 to 100 years old. That's not accurate. I'm letting you know we did an ad. We don't do graphic design services. I did an ad to help out a buddy in Florida in a local newspaper, and he was doing 30K months, and he does 60 grand a month now doing local paper advertisements. And his average customer is 52 years old. So it's not accurate. It's always 100-year-olds. There are some for sure. So.
I'm not sure 100-year-olds should be driving.
Yeah, that's a true thing. Do they really need to have a coating that's going to make them slip and break a hip?
They probably don't.
Yeah.
Your team says love you, Chris.
No, I don't love you. Goodbye. Go back to work. Build sites. Stop it.
So funny. So funny.
Get out of here. All right. Well, hey.
So let's not
hour of radio.
Not leave. Yeah, let's not leave before we talk about what is coming up, Tony.
Oh my goodness!
I don't even know what's the date. Yeah, what's the date? Let's see. The next Bead Maker and Coffee is the Monday prior to Monterey, right?
Yes.
So it'll be the week. It'll be the Monday before we leave. So we are 3 weeks today from the next Monterey trip. So we're super excited about that. We do have, I do want to say, because I'm really excited about it, we do have big things coming up at PNS. I know it's been quiet for a little while, but I can share that Dave and I worked on some stuff last week, and I'm super excited about it. So definitely stay tuned for that.
And it looks like that was what Bob dropped in our chat too, right when the show started.
Yeah. So super excited about that. Chris, what's coming up next for you? Will we see you at SEMA? Obviously, I think that's the next place we'll see you.
Yeah, so we have an events page at detailersroadmap.com, so you can see where all of our stuff is. We're going to be at WFR, which is Window Tint Revolution. We're going to be at WFCT, which is the Window Tinting Conference and Film Conference, and that's in Orlando. We'll be at SEMA. It's not hard to find us, that's for sure.
Nice. And then obviously easy to find you on social media, right?
Don't send me DMs.
On all the,
I'm not going to answer.
Detailers Roadmap.
Chris DiGiovanni DMs. Send me DMs all day. Detailersroadmap.com. We'll always tell you if we think we can make an impact in your business. So if we can't, we will tell you right up front. So
that's awesome.
Yeah, that's the MO.
That is awesome. Well, thank you so much for joining us today. I know we've wanted to have you on for a long time, so I was super excited when you agreed to come on. Always great information, really, really good information, stuff that I didn't even know. So that's awesome.
Yeah, no problem.
Yeah. Anything else, Tony? You have training?
I think that's it.
You don't have training.
Show us the pool again, Tony. Tony, show us the pool. Show us the pool, Tony. Come on, Tony. Show the pool. Show the koi pond where you put your finger.
You can't make me.
Show the pool where you put your pinky toes in it every night. Come on, we know it's true.
Oh gosh, this would be gross.
Look, he's looking around. He's doing it. Come on, show the pool, Tony. Do it, Tony.
No, not doing it.
Not gonna do it.
Anyways, at least the deer's gone. At least the deer left.
Well, you guys have a fantastic week. It looks like maybe some blue skies popping through, so maybe I'll have a better situation here. But thank you, Chris. You guys have an awesome week. Tony, I will see you in a couple weeks. And and everybody reach out to Chris if you have questions. Definitely great bank of information there, right?
No problem.
Yeah. Reach out to Chris directly, everyone.
Reach out DM directly. Yeah.
Slide into a DM.
Let me put on this autoresponder right now. Hold on. Thanks for having us on, guys. Appreciate it.
Thanks everyone for coming. Thank you, Chris, for being here with us. And we'll have to catch